In this video, we'll take a look at the rules for multiplying and dividing integers. The nice thing about multiplying and dividing integers is the rules are the same, and the rules are very straightforward. So if the signs are the same, we're going to have a positive answer. And if the signs are different, we're going to have a negative answer. This visual helps you to see it in action. In our first one, we can see that the same signs mean a positive answer. If we have -9 times -5, the answer is a positive 45. And if we have -72 divided by -8, the answer is a positive 9. So 2 negatives make a positive and 2 positives make a positive. But if the signs are different, our answer will automatically be negative. If we have a -9 times a positive 5, the result is a negative 45. And if we have a positive 72 divided by a -8, our answer is a negative 9. So if we have one negative in there, the answer will stay negative. Let's jump into some practice. If you want to try these on your own and pause the video, go right ahead and then you can play it to check the solution. So for example A, we have a -7 times a -2. We have two of the same sign. When the signs are the same, our answer will be positive because we are multiplying them. -7 times -2 results in a positive 14. For B below, we have a -6 times a positive 3. The signs are different. When the signs are different, automatically is a negative answer. 6 times 3 is 18. So our answer here is negative 18. For C, you can see the signs are different. Positive 27 divided by -9. Signs are different. The answer will be negative. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And for D, -10 divided by positive 2. Again, the signs are different. The answer will be negative. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now you can do these on your calculator, but these are basic facts. And it's very useful to learn the integer rules because when you're learning polynomials and equations, you can't always be using a calculator. So memorizing these integer rules really comes in handy and benefits you. Sometimes you have something called chain multiplication. Do you see how you have all these bracketed integers here? That means they're all being multiplied to each other. That's a lot. Even though the numbers aren't hard, that's a lot of signs to look at, and it can get kind of overwhelming. Now you have a choice when this happens. You can go one by one, and you will be successful using your integer rules for multiplication. Or you can use something called the EPON rule, which means if you have an even number of negatives, then the answer will be positive. If you have an odd number of negative signs, the answer will be negative. So let's check out the negative signs. This only works with the negative ones. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative signs. So we have 5 negatives. EPON says if we have an even number, it's positive. If we have an odd number, it's negative. We have an odd number of negatives, so the answer is going to be negative. From there, we can completely ignore the signs and just go through. 1 times 1 is 1, times 1 is 1, times 2 is 2, times 2 is 4, times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8. So the answer here is a negative 8. We determined negativity based on counting how many negatives we had in the question. Now, some students like EPON and some students do not, and that's completely up to you how you want to do it. If you want to work the chain one by one, you can do it that way, so let's figure it out that way too. -1 times -1, signs are the same, that results in a positive 1 answer. Then I bring the next one down. Now I'm going to multiply by a positive 1. Positive 1 times positive 1 equals positive 1. And I bring the next one down. Positive 1 times positive 2 is a positive 2. And I bring the next one down. Positive 2 times negative 2, signs are different. This is going to be a negative 4. Bring the next one down. Negative 4 times negative 1, signs are the same, changes to positive 4. And the last one I bring is a negative 2. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So I can either work a chain multiplication step by step, or I can use EPON. And you can add EPON to your notes if you feel that's good for you. And the more you try it, the more used to it you'll get. I find my strategy changes based on how many integers I have to multiply or divide. So I'm going to do some of these differently. Let's look at A. Here I have negative 4 times negative 6 times positive 3. So I'm going to work this chain left to right, but I could also use EPON if I wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and just multiply the first two integers. But I could multiply backwards, take any two. I can do it any which way. But I'm going to start with negative 4 times negative 6. Two negatives, same sign, means a positive answer. And that's going to be a positive 24. And now I'm going to multiply that by a positive 3. Same sign, positive answer. 24 times 3 is 72. So that's going to be a positive 72 there. For B, I could work the chain the same, or I can use EPON. How many negatives do I have? I have two of them. I've got a negative 9 and a negative 5. So I have two negatives. So I have an even number. So my answer is going to be positive. So without worrying about the signs now, I know that the answer is going to be positive, and I can multiply any which way I want. This time I'm going to do the easier multiplication. So I look around and see what I can figure out, or I can use a calculator, it's totally fine. But 2 times 5 is 10, and then I'm going to multiply 10 times 9. So I always strategize for the easiest way. So this is going to be a positive 90 result. For C, we have a longer chain and we have both division and multiplication. So we need to be careful here. For this one, we're going to work left to right because we have two different operations. And in this instance, I'm going to use EPON. I'm going to count my negatives. I have 1, 2, 3 negatives. So I have an odd number of negatives. My answer is going to be negative. So I know the answer is going to be negative, and now I can ignore the signs. I'm going to work left to right. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And 3 times 5 is 15. My answer is going to be negative 15 for this question. Now you are ready to finish the exercises in the workbook. I would recommend pages 15 to 18. You've done a little bit of adding and subtracting, and then there's more to do for multiplying and dividing. There's some more challenging questions in the workbook. And I would say of those would be probably question 5, because you have some missing numbers, and question 8, which involves calculating the average. And those are questions that you may want to ask when we come together in our next session. You can give those a try, and I would recommend doing questions number 1 up to about question number 9 would be plenty of practice. And remember that the answers are supplied in your workbook and they're also solutions. So if you're looking to check your answers, please do so on page 19, or you can take a look at the workbook solutions and check your work as you're going.